On your computer, the system folder contains the entire system. I know, unbelievable. But let's see what happens when you delete it on every single operating system. Starting with macOS. This folder is located in the Macintosh system drive, right here. And in order to delete it, you have to disable a few protective measures, which I have already done. And then you open up the terminal. Similarly to how it is on Linux, we can delete any kind of folder with sudo rmrf. And once I perform it on the system folder, this starts happening. It is now deleting a lot of files, and some of the files can't be deleted since they require even more advanced access, which is why we are getting a lot of these read-only file system errors. But still, this is enough to delete most of the files in the system folder, and the system completely freezes at some point. Once it reboots from the black screen, we can see that this macOS is completely gone. We are going to get a prompt that tells us that we need to reinstall macOS. Moving on to Windows, things actually get even crazier. On Windows, this special folder is called system32. In order to delete it, we have to take ownership of all the files first, which is now done. After that, we type this completely harmless command. It will now start deleting all of the files inside system32. Once this deletion process is finished, we don't see any significant damage right away. However, if we check the system32 folder's properties, we can see that it is significantly less in size. It went from multiple gigabytes to now being just a few megabytes. And a lot of files are still present in system32. But why did nothing happen? So if I open the start menu, I can no longer open settings, or most of the other programs. I closed the start menu and attempted to minimize the command prompt, but the entire system just froze for a few seconds. Opening up the file explorer, the entire sidebar is gone. I tried to open a few executables, but none of them opened. Surprisingly, we can still install Winamp on the machine, and it works too. That aside, if I try to open any files, we get an unexpected error. On the positive side, we can still create a new folder on the desktop, but if I try to open it, it takes forever. After that, I wanted to test a few more things, but suddenly this happened. The taskbar just disappeared out of existence, but after that, the system itself completely gave up on us as well. I got this random error that Windows is not responding and whether I want to end its suffering, which I didn't. So this is pretty much it for Windows. But now let's delete the system on Linux. I have picked Ubuntu for this, but the results would be pretty similar across a lot of the Linux distros. Here it is called a root folder and you can find it pretty easily as well. On Linux, it is so much easier to delete the entire system. Since there are not as many built-in protections for this, we just type this command and we see that it doesn't work. Then we type the same command but a bit different and now it does work. It also shows the same error messages of being unable to remove some files because of a read-only file system, just like on macOS. But it still deletes just enough to break the system. Immediately, a lot of the